quote unquote his helmet, or it could also be Destroyer of Worlds helmet as well. Galactus' helmet sitting in between the floorboards, everything. So it was kind of neat.
Chance starts Grim Reaper because Grim Reaper played a part in the Division.
In the Division, yeah.
And also he's tied in their backstory and everything. Yeah, that's cool. I like the show a lot. So yeah, Troy, you should watch the show. That's this.
Well, you kind of already
not each now. We just told you the whole plot.
No spoilers.
Well, not even that. There's so much different weird little stuff in there, and I love Kat Dennings. And almost every role she's in, she's awesome, and she's awesome in this role.
She's so another thing I did last year is I did the audiobook version of the Sandman comic book series, which was my favorite comic book series of all time. But they're now bringing out audiobooks. Audible is bringing out audiobooks versions of them, and they have different actors playing different characters from the series. And I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with it, but I'll pretend you guys are for a second. And one of the characters is Death, famously is a very popular character in the series, and she's kind of perky. She's the embodiment of Death, but she's kind of perky goth girl. And they have Kat Dennings doing the voice, and it's pitch perfect, I think. Yeah, it's great.
There is there's a neat little cartoon, and it's called Dallas and Robo, and it's a one-off. From what I can tell so far, it's only one season on it, but she's a space trucker, so she hauls things in space, and then her co-pilot is a robot who's actually being hunted by this other thing. It's actually a really funny little cartoon series. It's a weird mix between Love, Death, and Robots, which is technically heavy metal, and like Rick and Morty type of thing. It's kind of an in between the two, with a lot better graphics, a lot better animation.
Love, Death, and Robots is coming back for season 2 on March 15th.
That's cool.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah. I thought it was good. Again, like, shows like that, because of the serialized nature, because of everything sort of like, it's also a bit like Black Mirror, those sort of shows where there's sort of, there are overarching themes, there's callbacks sometimes to different events that happen in different episodes, but at the same time, it's all sort of you can watch each thing self-contained without having to have get too steep in mythology of it. So I don't mind shows that continue on like that, right? Like those shows can continue on for as long as they, don't run out of ideas. So I put an exception to my whole, I'm good with like one season and done, because Love, Death, and Robots, that just needed to keep going. There's so much.
That's an anthology show. That's it's still different.
That's what I'm looking for.
But, and that's the thing. It's one thing I like about it is it's by the artists and stuff like that. They all got together for heavy metal, essentially, for that magazine. And obviously they did heavy metal. They did Heavy Metal 2000 in the movies type of thing. And then they did, there's another one, I can't remember what it's called, that they did as well. It's an animation movie. It's not Wizards. It's the same type of, same style of animation
Wizards is
which is bad to say, but.
Isn't the Wizards the same studio? Or am I imagining that wrong? Who does Wizards? Is that what, Ralph Bacci or whatever, or is that someone else?
I can't remember who does it. There's actually another one with fairies as well, with the Fae in it as well. It's an animation style as well. But I like how it gives like different animators and different creators their different styles. Because there's live action with the Fridge. There is 100% CGI. There's just hand-drawn animation. There's like a claymation type thing. There's so many different types of styles, and so many different. Some are funny, some are sad, some are happy. All in like little 10-minute chunks type of thing. So it's what Quibi or whatever tried to be and did not accomplish.
Well, I get what they were going for with that platform, but because they figure, okay, well, everyone's attention span's 10 minutes now anyway, so let's just make all our shows 10 minutes. But like television doesn't quite work that way yet, I guess. I don't know.
I know we lost Troy though. Troy's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, Troy's just like,
oh no,
No, I'm here. Don't worry.
Troy is not actually a Cookie Monster. I don't think.
It's
I'm
not,
here
you're talking about TV so much. I have no idea. What is this television that you're talking about? It's non-interactive video games. Does that help at all?
It does. I just don't know all about them.
Like a video game you can't control. It just sort of happens to you.
Like, change the channel, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, you just kind of sit there and, like...
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know, like instead of having the controller, but I don't know.
There's kind of the gamification of TV right now. Some of these shows, like there's like, speaking of Black Mirror, the Bandersnatch.
Yeah, now that was cool. It was
Heard
also
of that
cool
one.
to
What's that?
I've heard of that one.
Bandersnatch.
Yeah, they basically, it's kind of a choose your own adventure. Basically, you just wander through and choose the ending you want, kind of thing, or make choices for the characters. And they did the same thing with like the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Actually, they did the same kind of idea.
How do you choose for a television show?
Well, it's
You
like
just choose.
Yeah, so it's like Netflix, right? And an option comes up on the screen, you click it. So they had to do a bit of a different.
Okay.
Right, like it works with your television remote or anything that. I think it worked for any device you'd use Netflix on, but I think it worked best on computer. Just from what I saw,
computer or I did Bandersnatch on my computer and it worked fine, and I did Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt with the controller. For like an Xbox or something, so it worked fine.
I've never heard of it. I've heard of both. I've never watched any of them. I don't know how they necessarily work.
Bandersnatch, I think you might actually enjoy. I mean, it's the general. I mean, you're kind of choosing the plot. Well, the plot's kind of chosen, but it's like a choose your own adventure where they kind of have a couple different forks and everything. But it's about a video game programmer in like the '80s trying to make his way. It's for lack of a better.
And then it's very meta. It's very like, are you actually the villain in the piece? At one point, like, are you the person watching this actually the villain of the whole piece? That's depending on the choices you make, that kind of thing. So it's very interesting in that sense. It's fun.
Yeah, Is it remember? Like, can you rewatch it and go a different route?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like
Maybe.
there's one early choice you make where you can pick which album you want to listen to. So you have your choice. I think one's Tangerine Dream, and I don't remember what the other one was. But then your music throughout the whole thing changes depending on the album you chose. So that it's just little things like that. It's just I was really hoping when Bandersnatch and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, when they did that, we'd start seeing more stuff like that from Netflix. We just haven't yet. I don't know if it's a product of COVID. I don't know if I imagine it'd probably be stupid expensive to make, but
yeah, you have to do all the alternative endings, right? All the alternative scenes and stuff, and
you're basically writing an entire season of a show as one show. So I can imagine that would be why. Like I have no idea how long and how much it would have cost to do Bandersnatch, but I mean it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And plus, you have to find a property people would already buy into with it, because like Black Mirror, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I mean, if you're just going to drop one that no one's ever heard of, you may as well make it a video game and charge $80 for it as opposed to just release it on Netflix.
It's a big risk though for those companies to produce something like that, because let's say the show doesn't make a hit, and you've now written 3 endings, so you've essentially written 3 shows worth of content, and the show tanks. You've lost 3 shows worth of effort.
Very valid. Though they did to kind of, I don't know if it was an existing property or not, but they did do it with another show as well. There was, I can't remember. It was like one of those survival shows. Is there a survivalist named Bear? Is there a survivor guy named Big Bear or something?
Like
Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls?
Yeah, the Bear Grylls show. I'm pretty sure it was a Bear Grylls show where he asks you to make choices in the wilderness, and then the results of that choice kind of thing would happen. I think there's something like that too. So that they can use it for other things other than just entertainment. I think it's also on Netflix.
I'm just educational kind of vibe. Yeah, eat those mushrooms. Yeah, let's see what happens.
I'm pretty sure I remember that correctly. I'm gonna I mean, heavens forbid we look anything up in the show or in our podcast, because that's the whole point of this podcast, is not to look things up and just make things as we go along.
I looked up Robo and
I know, it's all good. It's all
I
good.
looked it up. It's fine.
It's Man versus Wild, I think is what it is.
Man versus Wild. Okay.
Yeah, that's with the two co-hosts, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Anyways,
I know they tried doing it. It was a little kind of neat, I guess. They did a video game television. I can't remember the name of it. Connection, where they launched the television show and then launched the video game as well. And it would be watching the television show. There was a chance, how minute it was, but there was a chance where your character or your exploits within the game would be mentioned in the television show and could help, depending on how the television show or how the game went, could actually supposedly direct the way that the television show was going, everything. So it'd be like not this specifically, but like in Dune, it's like red, blue, or green. Like if everybody goes blue, then the show moves towards blue, and it's more of a everything. I'm just saying, like, that type of thing. It was, but it didn't do well. I think it had one season. Me and Jack played it for a season, and I think that his character was actually mentioned in it on the television show.
by the way, sorry, it's You versus the Wild. Sorry, that's what it is. But it still has Bear Grylls. But yeah, go ahead.
You versus the Wild? Right.
You versus the Wild, yeah.
So what about these types of, like, so they've tried many times with different things like Choose Your Own Adventure, like movies, where everybody sits in a movie theater, everybody has a B, C, and D button, and the movie stops, everybody chooses an option, and the movie moves in that direction. Is that something that you could see happening, like,
that
more
scale?
More of, yeah.
I don't like those concepts in general, because it usually just goes to whatever's the most, like, the reason why I think something like Bandersnatch, something like that, or you're talking about like Kimmy Schmidt or You versus the Wild, like, the reason why that works is that it's almost because it's personalized. It's my choices versus, whatever the group consensus is. I mean, I think it could work, but I think at the same time, I don't think that's what makes these kind of experiences special. It makes it special because what I did had a direct impact versus what a room full of strangers did, or 10 million people online. At that point, it's no better or worse than texting 276 to vote for the next American Idol. It's the same thing for me at that point.
Now, Futurama played off of it with one of their episodes where everybody had to choose what the main character in the movie, I can't remember his name. I can only remember Zap's name for some reason. But they had to choose what he did, and everybody chose one thing, and the movie just went on for him to do his taxes. And the whole thing was chase after the person or do your taxes. I could see people Redditing it where it's like, hey, everybody go to your theater. Okay, fill half the theater. Let's get 50% of the theater in there, and everybody choose the crappiest choice possible. Or everybody choose the worst choice, or direct the choice of a movie.
Any reality TV show has that problem with it, I think, and that's kind of what you're describing at some point when you'd have that level of like audience control. Like you have a certain issue with sabotage. I don't know if it has I don't know if it's a significant effect. Like if you watch like some of these reality shows and stuff, like I don't know how much of a significant effect that's Fuck with Idol has on American Idol. I'm sure there's a portion of it, but like I don't know.
Well, I think with American Idol, I mean, there's I don't think like the like I'll use like the Reddit community. Like I'm thinking what's happened recently, like Wall Street r/Wall Street Bets, right?
Yeah.
Where you can have like a group of people organized to do one particular thing, but then I also turn back and think about things like, okay, when they wanted to name the new icebreaker in Scotland,
Bodie McBoatface.
What you're gonna do is that it's because American Idol, like people really don't care about, but if you make it like a semi-popular show, a lot of people are engaged in that aren't fitting a certain like tween demographic. I think then you're gonna see the more Bodie McBoatface kind of logic playing out.
it's interesting how this audience participation thing has kind of evolved over the years. Like I remember, it's back to comic books again, but there's in Batman in the 80s.
Yes, Death in the Family.
Death in the Family. It was Jason Todd. Yeah, when the